Summer is fleeting. Summer is fleeting away. It's packed its bags and it'll be out of town soon. So we do hope that you have an opportunity to go out and take advantage of a lot of the warm sunshine that you'll surely be missing in months to come. Welcome back to the all new Ron Chapel Show. Today we have a very, very special segment because we have a very special guest. And we're going to waive the community announcements today and also the street report that we normally have. So let me introduce the guest. He is a declared, Chris, please don't show him yet. Please, please, please. Back up. Okay. He is a declared candidate for mayor of the city of Harrisburg. I believe this is the second time he's running for that office. Okay, he is a business owner here in Harrisburg. He's also a homeowner. And he's a one-term Harrisburg City Council member. Currently, he is the treasurer of the city of Harrisburg. So we welcome to the show the Honorable Mr. Dan Miller.
Nice to see you, Ron. Nice to be here.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for coming back, sir. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning. How long have you been a resident of Harrisburg, Dan?
Oh, God, that's 35 years. 1990, I think.
Since
Now, actually, I'm born just outside the city limits, so I was born and raised here.
Okay, okay. So I take it that so you did go to school here in Harrisburg.
I went to Central Dauphin.
Central Dauphin, okay. Okay, that's right on the outskirts of Harrisburg. Now I mentioned that you are a business owner in Harrisburg. What business do you own, sir?
I'm a certified public accountant, and it was 1990, I guess. So maybe I was here before 90. I started my firm in downtown Harrisburg on 2nd and North Street, Miller, Dixon, Drake. I got some other partners. Actually, we've pretty much been an anchor of downtown for 30 years.
Okay, and how many people did you employ, or are you employing?
Well, actually, I just retired. I think there's 8 people there now, and we've had, people over the years, people that have lived in the city. I mean, we've been, I think, good for the city, and we've worked with many city businesses and individuals over that time. I mean, it's actually a really booming, successful firm right now.
Okay, and I mentioned that you were a one-term Harrisburg City Council member. What years did you serve for Harrisburg City Council, sir?
That was, I was elected in 2005, and I began in 2006 through 2010.
Okay, and I believe, I think I said this is your second turn at running for mayor of Harrisburg.
That's correct, because after I was on council, I ran and became controller. So I was a controller for the next 4 years. And then I did attempt a run at mayor. And again, I got a second place on that one. I had a lot of things going on in my life, and not quite the same. And then I became the city treasurer for the past, 10 years. And now, though, I'm retired from my business, and I really have the time to run and pursue a higher office, and also give it the time that I think attention that Harrisburg really needs, because we're at a turning point right now.
Okay, in full disclosure, I did work with your campaign. I did work at the polls for your campaign during your run for mayor. I believe that you were contesting that seat against Eric Pappenfuss, who went on to become mayor. And I remember when we left the gathering at your home, the political gathering at your home, I went to the mayor's bookstore, Mayor Pappenfuss' bookstore, wearing your badge, and I walked up and I congratulated him. And Ryan Sanders is a witness to that. He happened to be there at that time. And so, but right now, I'm non-committed with this mayoral race. I just want to shed light on that I did work with the Miller campaign years and years ago. Okay, so Mr. Miller, why do you want to be mayor of Harrisburg?
Because I have, first of all, I have a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience with my CPA firm. I work with hundreds of clients, and in the city government, I've been on council, I've been the controller, I've been the treasurer. I really understand all of those workings. And for the past 20 years, I've been involved. And I think that I can really add a lot to Harrisburg. I think I've seen many missed opportunities. There's waste, there's problems, and I want to change things for the better. I want to give Harrisburg the place that it deserves along this beautiful river. And it's really a prime city. It has the potential to be a prime city, and I would like to make sure we get there.
Okay, another former Harrisburg City Council member now sits as mayor of Harrisburg, and that's Wanda Williams. Do you think Mayor Williams has failed the city, sir?
Well, we have gotten along well, actually, generally in the past 20 years. And as a matter of fact, I supported her 4 years ago. But, in my own dealings with her, the things that I wanted to achieve and the progress that I wanted to make, none of that has occurred because although she seemed to be with me when she was running, I thought we were going to accomplish these goals. None of it, she could never get behind it then. And so in some sense, I'd say that. I'd say in the campaigning, my story I've heard repeated over and over again, where people have thought that something was going to happen, they were told it was going to happen, and then never happened. So in some respects, I think there's a lot more that can be done with the office of mayor.
Okay, what is your platform for the city of Harrisburg?
Well, we've got a broad platform, but basically we're about safe streets, stable finances, which finances are crucial. We would like to see more affordable housing and really business opportunities. Those are the things that are going to drive Harrisburg forward. And we need all of those things. All those things are very important.
Okay. This go round, you're running as a Republican. How long have you been a Republican, sir? Or are you a registered Republican?
That's actually thanks, Ron. That's a great question because it's a really confusing situation. As you know, I ran as a Democrat, and I've been a Democrat for 40 years. I can't tell you how long. But I ran as a Democrat. I've always run as a Democrat in the city, and I ran as a Democrat in the primary. I lost the Democratic primary by 80 votes, so it was very narrow. But at the same time, that same night, I was a winner because the Republicans had no candidate and Republican voters wrote me in. So I did win the Republican write-in. So in the fall, I will be on the ballot. I will be under the Republican ticket, but I am a Democrat. I was Democrat on election day, and I'll be a Democrat this coming election day, and I have no plans to change.
Okay, so the message, what is your message to Democrat voters who you're asking to vote for Republican, a mayor on the Republican ballot? Do you have, how would you tell them that you're still a Democrat at heart?
Well, I am. The thing is, I don't know if you know much about ranked choice voting that a lot of other states have, or other places. That means that you don't run in a party, Democrat or Republican, you just run. And the top two vote getters have a runoff then in the fall. I liken this to that. Wanda and I were the top two vote getters. Now we're going to face each other in the fall. We're both Democrats. My philosophies haven't changed. I am a fiscally responsible person. I believe in that. That's the core of my being, I think, as a CPA. And I think that Republicans maybe respect that part of me, and that's why they wrote me in. And so I think I'm the candidate that everybody can feel comfortable with. Democrats can certainly feel comfortable because I've been a Democrat in public office for 20 years, and that's not changing. But I think Republicans also know that I can have a broad vision. I can welcome everybody and work together.
Okay, now I want to ask you a two-part question, and so Harrisburg, I think it can be said that it is racially polarized to a certain degree, and so which is not a good thing, of course, because we should all coexist together, But I want to ask you this, like I said, it's a two-part question. What would you say to the Black voters of Harrisburg that think that they should vote for Wanda Williams merely because she's a Black woman?
I think I want to say is I've been here for 30 years in the city. And actually, I always thought I lived in Harrisburg. When you're growing up, your address even is Harrisburg. So I've always been a part of Harrisburg. And so this is my home. I want to see it prosper as much as possible, as much as everybody else. And, I've lived here for many years. I live in a really mixed neighborhood. I have a lot of, Black neighbors, and we get along well. I have a garden right down the street here, and we share things. And, these are all just great people. And I have a lot of support from Black voters. I think the real key is this. In my mind, it's about who's the most qualified, who has the experience and the knowledge. And I think if you look at the two candidates, I'm very well qualified. I've got a master's degree in business administration with a concentration in finance. I've had 40 years in the finance business and accounting. I've worked with hundreds of companies, big, small. I know how to get things done. I've built my own business. I came from really getting let go from an unjust situation to where I have a really thriving business and really enjoy Harrisburg. So plus I've been the treasurer, the controller on city council. I have a view of everything. I think I'll be able to work well with everyone down there. And I think the business community is really rallying behind me because they want to see change. They want to come into Harrisburg. They want to build up Harrisburg. They want to do business here, but there's a lot of problems currently working with the city. And I think those can be corrected. And I think everyone will benefit then. Black, white, Latino, Asian will all benefit as Harrisburg grows.
Okay, now on the same token, you may have answered it already, but what would you say to the white voters of Harrisburg that feel they should vote for you only because you're a white man?
Well, I don't want anybody to vote for me like because I'm a man, number one, or because I'm white, or because I'm 5'10", or I have brown eyes. I mean, I want people to vote for me because I'm the best qualified candidate, and I'm the candidate that's going to lead Harrisburg forward and really make an impact and make change. What I want them to think is where we are today, where we were 4 years ago, and where we could be in 4 more years. This election is about change. We know what the status quo is. Do we want to continue that, or do we want to move forward? And I don't think that depends upon someone's race.
Okay. Good answer. Now, I think we have to admit that things got kind of contentious between you and Mayor Williams during the primary election. During the debates, would you agree to that? Do you? Because it seemed like y'all had a little give and take there.
Well, we did have a number of debates. Actually, if you look at my campaign strategy was not to attack the mayor in any way, or actually attack any other candidate. And I did not attack any candidates. I do know that during the debates, I was attacked. There was a situation where some of these attacks were just like made up. I don't know where those came from. So I did react to things that were completely not true or just fabricated. But, I have really tried not to attack the mayor. It's a difficult job, and she's got, her ability to do it. So I don't want to attack her, but I do think there's a lot of things we could do in a much better way, more efficient, more competent, and get the city moving forward.
Okay, let me ask you, there has been stories in the media about some court case that Mayor Williams is involved in. Are you familiar with that? And can you enlighten us on what those matters are about?
Well, I know two things, two different cases. The one is
two.
Yes. The one is with a former sanitation director who was ostensibly fired because he refused to give Wanda Williams' son a promotion. And because of that, the mayor fired him. He is now suing the city for wrongful discharge, and that is going to...
Her son is?
No, I'm sorry. Can I say his name?
Sure.
Nate Spriggs is suing the mayor because he felt he was wrongfully discharged. and the judge they tried to throw the case out. The judge says, no, there's enough here for this to go to a jury and have a jury decide that. Now, I have read some of the transcripts of that case, and in that transcript, it's very interesting because what I discovered was that the mayor is also being investigated by the Pennsylvania Ethics Commission.
Is that right?
I don't know what that's about, because the way the Pennsylvania Ethics Commission works is they won't talk about it until the investigation is complete, and then so it's not complete yet, and so we don't know what's going on. Mayor Williams did admit under oath that she had been interviewed by the State Ethics Commission, and as soon as they sort of got into what the issues are, the lawyers had her stop, and so I don't know what's going on there.
Okay.
But I don't think it can be good.
Okay. We have invited the mayor to come on. She had agreed to come on a couple of times and changed her mind a couple of times. But anyway, now there will probably be debates, or at least a debate before the general election, perhaps in the latter part of October or September. But I want to ask you, Mr. Miller, if Mayor Williams agrees upon it, would you commit yourself? Would you agree to have a debate against Mayor Wanda Williams here on the All New Ron Chapel Show in studio?
Well, that's I hadn't thought about having one here. That's certainly a possibility. I don't want to commit to that today, Ron, but I have already committed to a debate. I think it's Channel 8 has asked me on September 30th. Channel 27 has asked me. Some others, community organization has asked me. None of that has been confirmed. And what has been told to me is that Mayor Williams is not going to do any debates.
None?
That's what I've heard. So I haven't heard it from her, so I don't know, but that's what apparently they're saying. So yeah, I'd love to have some debates. I will say we had quite a number of debates in the spring, and it's a difficult debating with 5 people. So some of those debates may have been not as relevant as others. So I don't want to overcommit to debates, but I certainly am looking forward to a debate, and hopefully we have some.
I was saying from a pastor of mine came to mind. He said it's a frog that won't praise his own pond. And so I'm surprised to hear that Mayor Williams has said, well, the word that you get is that she's not going to participate in any debates. I think that the residents of Harrisburg have a right to question their mayor, not just go by secondhand reports, perhaps from one of her spokespeople, but to ask the mayor questions directly. At one time we had Commissioner Thomas Carter on the program, and we had a segment of Buzz the Fuzz where residents could call in and speak directly to the police commissioner. Now, I want to ask you, Mr. Miller, if you are elected president, if you are,
okay.
I'm thinking big, well, president of the city, if you are elected mayor of Harrisburg, would you be willing to participate in a segment where residents can call in and have a talk with the mayor?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's so important. I mean, I hope to really, if I become mayor, I really do want to travel around the city like I'm even am now. And, you've got to hear what people have to say. And hopefully they feel connected. And I want people to feel connected to the city so that we can solve the problems that we have and make progress and move forward.
Okay. That was an issue that you had touched upon, before we start recording here. It was about monies that was set aside for trash removal, I believe, in Harrisburg, and there's some controversy about that.
Well, that's a really separate issue, and what I had really mentioned was really about the $14 million of trash delinquent accounts that have not been collected.
Okay.
Which is such a serious issue because our sanitation fund, that's the fund we pay our trash collection out of. I mean, not collection, I mean, the actual collection when they go out and pick up the trash. We need money in that fund in order to operate the trucks, pay the workers, all of that. That had slipped down below $500,000 at one point this year. And if we collected that $14 million, we'd have plenty of money to continue to collect trash as with. And I think that there gets to be a lot of misinformation about the policy that I would like to propose on this. And I think some of it by the mayor is intentional. So the first thing I'd like to say is I just want to do the billing instead of 12 times a year, do it once a year. And I want to put it right on the real estate tax form. And what that means is that only property owners will get the trash bill. That's it. No tenants. So if we go to this method, tenants will not pay trash bills at all. Property owners will be responsible. And the other thing is about the property owners, and they say, oh, well, your property owners are going to lose their house. Where that's the last thing I want. I just want people to pay their trash bill. Somehow they can afford to pay their real estate taxes every year, but somehow they don't pay their trash. And if, in fact, my proposal has a provision for elderly, low-income folks. Mm-hmm. So if you're over 65 and you qualify based on HUD requirements, you can get a reduction in your trash of 50, 75, or even 100%. So there is a provision there, and it's something we don't have now. Right now, there's no provision to help anybody lower income on trash. So I think it's really positive in that way. And I think we will, there's so many ways we can collect that $14 million, and we need it. Because we want to keep our trash service up.
Okay. Can we open up the telephone lines? Would you be willing to take calls from the voice?
Do you want to touch on the other thing? This week I have another issue.
Okay, go right ahead, please.
The other issue is where these COVID funds were set aside to help people who may have had trouble paying their utilities during COVID, the 3 years of COVID. And these would be to go to trash payments. And we in Treasury were not involved in helping with manage this program. I mean, even though we obviously are involved with how to record these payments. So we didn't know anything about this program until phones started ringing last Monday morning and people were asking us. Well, it turns out that a letter was sent out to 540 residents that would absolve their trash fees if they had complied with several things. And according to the administration, it was that if they had made a payment within the last 5 years and if they had a delinquent balance. So the first thing I did was ask, well, where's the written policy? So we know how to administer this so that there's accountability, there's transparency, people know how to qualify. Unfortunately, the administration said they didn't have a written policy. And then when we started looking at all of these accounts, we found that many of the folks that were on the list did not make a payment within the last 5 years. Many of these folks weren't even city residents. They lived in New York City. They lived in Florida. Some of these balances, if you didn't pay your trash bill for 3 years, it's like $35 or $32 back then. That would be about $1,164 credit. Most of these, 93% of these balances were over $1,164. What that says is they've been accumulating long before COVID, and some of them up to $9,400. I don't even know how long it would take you to get a balance like that. So there's a lot of problems, I think, in the management of giving out these credits, and I often say there's a lot of incompetence down in City Hall. And I mean, this could not be a more wonderfully specific instance of the incompetence of that administration, which I think goes right to the top.
Okay, well, during a debate, I think that the residents would have an opportunity to have the mayor address that issue. And okay, so can we open up the telephone lines now? So residents of Harrisburg, if you want to call in and speak to Mr. Dan Miller, please feel free to do so now. The number is 717-889-7181, 717-889-7181. We only ask that you be respectful and no personal attacks and no profanity, please. Okay, let's speak about when you become mayor. If you become mayor, Mr. Miller, We have a police commissioner who has been respected by the community for years. He was police chief, and now he's commissioner. And there's Clarence Carter. Is it Thomas Carter? Let's say Clarence Carter. It's
Carter.
Thomas Carter.
Tom Carter. I don't know. Maybe Clarence is somewhere in there, but it's Tom Carter.
I think we're in a radio station here. Clarence Carter was a singer. Okay, but Thomas Carter. Do you plan on retaining Thomas Carter as commissioner if he chooses to remain?
Those are tough questions for me because I don't feel it's appropriate for me to say, I'm going to make this change or that change, because these folks are down there they're working hard, and we want them to continue to do that. I don't want them to think, oh gosh, if Dan Miller wins, then I'm going to lose my job. So I'm going to answer that. I mean, I'd like to see the city police force move forward. I think, I'd love to stop all these shootings, and that's one of my provisions. I'd like to get cameras up, especially right here in your neighborhood, Ron. We've got a lot of shootings.
The neighborhood of this church, yes.
Yep, the church. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
I don't live in this neighborhood.
I don't know where you live, but you're in this neighborhood right here, and almost every corner there's shootings around here, and I'm right here because my garden's right there, and my neighbors tell me, we need to get cameras up so we can see who this is. And try to get these folks off the street. So there's that. I mean, in addition, as far as public safety goes, we need to offer more to our younger residents. They seem to be the ones that are having the issue, so that they see that there's a whole future for them, and a future that's positive, where they can work, where they can earn money, where they can buy a home, where they can raise a family, and they're not doing something that's going to get them shot.
Yeah, incidentally, we were neighbors at one point back a few years ago. I lived in the high rise there, right around the corner from your house there. Yeah. And I would see you out there working in your garden time to time. And you're also an urban farmer. Let me speak about that a bit. You do grow food here in Harrisburg.
That's correct.
I'd like to touch on that for a moment.
Yeah, I like to garden, and my yard where I live is not that big, and it does have ornamental things in it, but I've always, my grandfather, he grew potatoes and pears and apples and all kinds of strawberries and stuff like that. And I guess he got that in me somewhere. And so over here on Atlas Street in the 2200 block, there was a community garden there. And then I noticed there were some vacant lots. So I purchased those lots and I put a garden for myself in. I have a little orchard, I have a berry patch. And then what happened is that community garden was going to be sold. So, and they unfortunately didn't have the money to buy it. So I bought the community garden, and now I run the community garden, and it's really a great spot. There's folks, I've got disabled folks there. We've got, lots of neighbors there, people who want to garden, but it's in the city. It's difficult to do that. And here we have a sunny location. We have like 20 different gardeners in different plots over there.
Okay. And what do you say to the people? There's been a murmuring in the community that Dan Miller is only concerned with the far uptown portion of Harrisburg. Do you ever get up on the hill or in Midtown or the south side?
I get I get all around. Frankly.
I mean, have you been over there talking with the community?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I wish I'd send you. I just did a great video of being over there. One of my campaign volunteers is a young Latino woman who is a professional financial person, and she's hooked up with me. And we just did, like a week or two ago, a tour of 14 Latino businesses. So we were all around the city. Actually, the grocery store right over here on 6th Street.
Yes.
And and then we were up some other places, but a lot of it was up on the hill at barbershops, at appliance stores, at a bakery, at restaurants, all that. I mean, it's really vibrant over there, and it's a place I go, like to get to and talk to those folks.
Okay. Well, we're about to conclude this segment, but let's see. So you're running as a Republican, and you came in second in the Democrat primary, and so I think mathematically I can feel comfortable that with the Democratic votes that you did receive, and with all of it, or at least we'll say 85% of the Republican votes, I think it's quite possible that you will be assuming the helm as mayor of Harrisburg come November.
Don't jinx me.
Well, no, I'm not going to jet. No, no.
I
no,
mean,
no.
it is, you know, I'm running, I like to say I'm the Democrat on the Republican ticket. So, and yes, you know, 65% of the folks voted for change in that primary election. And so hopefully we can, we have that, we have other voters. Like, you know, I think it's really important for the independents and Republicans. You know, generally they don't get a voice in the city's elections. Well, they really could be the difference this time, and I'm encouraging them all to come out, and everyone to come out and vote.
Well, you always run like you're trailing anyway. You know, you want you. So before we close, do you have and Chris, I'm sorry, I did not invite you to. Do you have a quick question or a comment for Dan?
Sure. Again, thank you for your determination, your resilience, man, your commitment to the city of Harrisburg. Just real quick, I was at a program this past weekend, and the topic of the program was "What about the children?" As a parent that homeschools, where do you stand on school choice, sir?
Well, I'm a big fan of public schools. I mean, because public education is the basis really of our democracy.
Yes, sir.
People have to be educated. They have to understand how our democracy works. And actually for all of these, you know, I think there was a 16-year-old boy shooting a 13-year-old boy just, you know, a half a block from here.
Sir, yes.
Those kids have to have an education and know that they can do something other than deal in drugs.
Yes, sir.
So you know, I think I think choices are great. I am a real supporter of public education because I think we needs a really good school. It should be a school that we can all feel good about. So I don't know if I'm waffling on that. I think in Harrisburg we need choices, but I don't want people to think I don't support public education, because that's the basis of our foundation.
Okay, understood. I'm sure we can get into that later. I just want to see where your stand is. Best wishes, man. And we look forward to having you back sometime in the near future.
Okay, great. Thanks. We'd be glad to come back.
Okay, let me say that Mr. Miller's visit here is being sponsored by friends of Dan Miller. Okay, so Mr. Miller, is there any contact information for the viewers out there that want to be a part of your campaign? Is there a number they can call or a website they can go to?
There is, yes, go to the website, friendsofdanmiller.com, and we have a volunteer sign up there. On the website, there's a phone number. You can also call that. You can text that. I can't tell you the number off the top of my head right now, Ron. But the other thing is, let me tell you, we have one office at 1515 Dairy Street.
Okay.
So you can drop in there. And we also have another office at 1417 and a half North 3rd Street. That is right next to the Sam Art Museum, Susquehanna Art Museum. So we have two offices. They're not going to be manned 24 hours a day, but people will be there, and you can drop in there also to connect with us.
Okay, just one quick last question. Louis Butts, would you consider giving Louis Butts some sort of job or position with your administration? Because he's been a cheerleader for Harrisburg for the longest, and he's also ran for mayor.
Yeah, I want to say not only Lewis, I think Lamont Jones and I think Tone Cook all have things that we can contribute to Harrisburg. I mean, both of those guys have experiences that I think would help us with younger guys to keep them out of trouble, show them that there's a better way. And yeah, Louis Butts has lots of great ideas. I don't know a position for him off the top of my head, but if Louis is interested, I'd be glad to talk to him about it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Dan Miller, for Pastor Chris Thomas, engineer and owner of The Voice 17104. We want to thank you all for viewing. We want to thank our very special guest, candidate for mayor on the Republican ticket, but he is a Democrat. He's a lifelong Democrat at heart. He's running as Republican because Republicans nominated him for mayor. And so we do hope, by all means, that you get out and vote. What is the date of that election?
November 4th is the day. And you can also do a mail-in ballot. You can still register, go right online to Pennsylvania State, and you'll get those ballots probably in the beginning of October.
Okay. So exercise your franchise and get out and vote. Thank you, Mr. Dan Miller.
Thanks, Ron.